Hey, welcome to our June 5th, 2023 Commissioner meeting. As always, we'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda today is our County Attorney, Matt Shipman.
Good afternoon. As far as the things that are on the agenda today, I have reviewed the solar ordinance updates, and those do seem appropriate given, where things are at. But other than that, I don't have any other comments at this point.
Just real quick, you've also reviewed the community crossing
Correct.
documents.
Yes.
Okay. That'll come up later on the agenda. Any questions for Matt?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, let's move right into the solar zoning text ordinance. I think that Nathan's with us today. So Nathan, if you want to come forward.
Good afternoon. You should have before you a copy of the certification of the revised solar ordinance text, as well as proposed ordinance, which the way it's written is just basically taking and replacing the entirety of 5.23 with the new text. It was easier to do that than to outline every single change that was made. This comes to you without a recommendation from the County Plan Commission. As we've talked before, that may be how we handle ordinance amendments from here into the future, just to say, hey, this is something that we originated, so therefore we wouldn't be passing it to you without agreeing that language is okay. I won't go into all the different changes. I think and I think the audience who is interested knows what those changes are, but do you have questions for me?
There hasn't been any changes that weren't publicly discussed in a planning commission meeting, correct?
Correct. There were two typo corrections. One was very explicit and one was a clarification of non-participating property. And that was part of the motion. That was the final motion from the planning commission.
Okay. Is there an ordinance number?
3-07.
Okay, commissioners?
I have nothing to add at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-07.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And then Nathan, we're gonna, since you're up here, Leslie, I hope that's okay. You're next on the agenda, but Nathan, you have a couple other items on the agenda, so it makes sense to just go ahead and knock that out.
Thank you. So I'll take the relatively easy one first, which is a one-lot plat called Tipple Acres. It is located in the far southwest corner of the county. This was before the Plan Commission at their May meeting received received their approval unanimously. It is somewhat uniquely shaped. If you looked at the electronic version, it's a triangle, and that actually lines up with the characteristics of the land itself. It has a legal drain that runs along here, so it's not just for geometric creativity. It's actually reflective of conditions of the site. So with that, let's see, I said southwest. This is actually off of County Road 950 West, again, in far southwestern part of the county. So any questions?
I would entertain a motion to approve Tipple Acres.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that motion carries unanimously.
So the other item of business that I have is a rezoning request from rural residential to village commercial. This is for the Crooked Lake Golf Course Clubhouse, the former clubhouse located in the north side of Morton's Road, which was purchased at auction last fall. The current owners wish to operate basically a warehousing operation, which is not allowable under RR. And so the most reasonable district was considered to be the village commercial. However, village commercial allows for a lot of uses that really would not be appropriate after all the discussion with Plan Commission at that location. I want to say 103 some uses. So this was originally heard at the December Plan Commission meeting, and at that point, the Plan Commission recommended to the petitioner to revise their proposal to come back with commitments that would limit the number of uses permissible. So they did that. They did that in conjunction with the Crooked Lake Owners Association, which signed off. There are also some other commitments that they made regarding landscaping and so on, which the Plan Commission also accepted. There were two proposed commitments, which the Plan Commission did not say or said were not required, and those were number 8 and 9 in that list that you were provided. So with that, then with those commitments, the Plan Commission forwarded a favorable recommendation, again, unanimous recommendation of the proposed rezoning. That said, it is unanimous with the commitments, and the commitments still do need to be reformatted into something that's a reportable form. So the way this ordinance is written, it is effective upon the recordation of the commitments. And I believe they've engaged legal counsel to get those refined.
Okay.
Was that passed unanimously?
Yes, it was.
Commissioner Shipman, do you have anything to add to that? I know you're sitting on that. I know that there was some contentions going on between neighbors, I believe. Just make sure everyone's seems happy now and they've worked things
The
out.
representative from the Lake Association gave a lengthy presentation of support, basically. So I think they've got the details ironed out and we're ready to move forward.
When those exceptions are recorded, where will they be recorded? How will future owners know what the rules that they're playing by are?
Mm-hmm. And that's an important question. That's part of the reformatting because it will need to be cross-referenced to the parcel document number. So the most recent instrument number should also be cross-referenced to this document because I believe this gets recorded as well. And so between those two things, it should show up into the chain of title, which is important because those commitments run with the land and future owners are still held to the same requirements.
Any more questions for Nathan?
I'll make a motion to approve the request as presented.
Is
Second.
there an ordinance number for this?
2023-08. Ordinance 2023-08.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Leslie, now we're ready.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to present our quarterly operating claim for Indiana Department of Transportation. There are two claim forms that I will present today. The first is some residual CARES Act funding. If you may remember back in 21, we were all of the NDOT transit operations were allocated some funding from COVID relief CARES funds. We used all of the funding that was available to Whitley County at that time, but not every transit operation was able to do that. So the state basically reallocated all of the funding and distributed that among all of the transit operations in the state. So we are using the final amount of CARES funding that was allocated to us in the amount of $42,180. And so the first claim form is for that amount. And then the second claim form is a 5311 rural transit operating claim form. And you'll see in the detail, the total amount requested is $122,383. And just under half of that is federal funding, and the remaining balance is state funding that has been set aside for our organization. So again, these are all funds that are coming back to us through the state and or federal Transportation Administration funding. Can I answer any questions? It's the standard form that we bring every quarter, so.
I have none. Tamala, do you need a separate motion for each voucher?
I think that's how we normally do it, especially since it's two different funds.
Yep. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the voucher for Whitley County Transit for the CARES Act funding.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that passes unanimously. Does that just require one signature or three?
One is-
Is blue ink okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, next up, we have the 5311 rural transit funds.
I'll make a motion to approve the voucher for Whitley County Transit for the rural transit funds.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same, and that passes unanimously.
So I know I ask this every time you come. Did you guys get the vehicles that we ordered like 2 years ago, 3 years ago
3
now?
years ago now.
3 years ago.
No, but the update that I have from Midwest Transit, which is, they're the ones that put them together, is that they expect the chassis for the two medium-sized transit buses that we're hoping to receive this year. They expect those chassis to roll off the production line August or September. Then the chassis will go to Midwest Transit and they will build them out from there. So fingers crossed, we still look like we're in good shape.
Maybe by Christmas.
Maybe, but it will be our Christmas gift this year.
Yes.
I am a little concerned for next year. We've placed an intent to order a minivan and a small transit bus. And the small transit chassis, we're hearing some concerns. So we'll see. I think the minivan will be fine, but I'm not sure quite yet what will happen with that small transit bus. So we'll play it by ear. But
Okay.
definitely feeling optimistic about the two that we've been waiting on for a while. So
Yes.
yes, positive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Julie Jensen-Kelley. Hi.
I am here to request the commissioners fund the 2023 corporate challenge team. This is a program that we participated in for some years through the YMCA. The cost is $500. Just gives us an opportunity to spend time with all departments after hours at the Y with some friendly competitions. I think that there was an invoice in your packet, and that is just something that if approved, that the auditor's office would need to be able to pay the YMCA.
we'll approve it if you win.
It's been a while since we've had the trophy in here.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
I have no issues with it. I know it's something that our employees enjoy doing, and it really encourages them to exercise and stay healthy. So I have no issues with it. I would make a motion to approve the request for Whitley County to be a part of the YMCA Corporate Challenge.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the highway right-of-way permit, unofficial detour, and community crossings bid notice. Are you at all in a position to speak to this?
So,
We could start with the easy stuff like the right-of-way permit and the unofficial detour.
okay, so the unofficial detour is for another NDOT project on SR 14, just southwest of South Whitley. And they plan on cutting over 900 west over to River Road and then back over to State Road 5. And, you know, their official detour is always on all state highways, which is usually pretty long.
Is there a weight limit on River Road?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Our only weight limited bridge is over on the other side of the county.
Also, is there a no trucks ordinance? I know that we passed a recent ordinance for a speed limit on River Road to 45. I feel like there might have been a no trucks ordinance approved prior to that,
I feel like you're correct.
but
There was some issue with, because there was erosion or something, right? This
Mhm.
was-
and this was with the previous three commissioners.
Yeah, I can't remember the particulars about it, but I think it was because there was some erosion issues caused maybe when the dam down in Colomer went out, and there was some spots that they were concerned about. And there was a lot of truck traffic, maybe from a gravel pit or something.
Yeah, I know that they're experiencing higher than normal truck traffic at this time because obviously State Road 14 is already closed at the school and they're already using River Road. So I'm curious about that. But when does the project start?
I haven't seen a schedule for the project.
Okay.
It does say that it could could have already started.
Right. I think it's important that we approve, we want to make sure we get our funding if there's any damage to the road, which is the idea behind approving the unofficial detour. So
Correct.
I just also hope that we're monitoring the condition of the road now and the use that it's receiving, which isn't you at all, but
I can
Just a
pass that
thought.
on to Scott.
Yeah, I can't remember, and I know with the previous director, we had discussed it, but it's been a while. So how do we monitor the condition previously and then after the unofficial detours closed? Because Commissioner Banks is right. If there's any extra wear and tear, the state should pay for that.
Right, and I haven't been involved with how NDOT's done it. Previously I've seen it where the road will be driven with a video camera and it'll record the whole length of the road, and you do that before and after, and if there's any differences, then it's documented
Okay.
that way.
and I believe that's what we do here locally.
I'm pretty sure you're correct, but we haven't discussed it in a while. Okay.
So I would entertain a motion then to approve the unofficial detour for River Road.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that passes unanimously.
And I'll reiterate to Scott to check the condition of the road for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do know that our sheriff's department is more than willing to also enforce those laws as written, if we have those existing ordinances, which I think we do.
Need to sign that, is that correct?
Yep.
And that does have George's name on there, so you'll probably have to cross that out from like his name.
Just one line through it, and not to write it on.
That's what I would do.
Get that, Rob?
Yeah.
Just one line.
One line.
Well, it's gonna be George today.
Okay, right-of-way permits.
So these are both for gas crossings that are proposing an open cut across the road to install the gas line. The first one I have is on 800 East at the intersection of 500 South. And the open cuts for this one are just in the corner of the intersection here, where there's the box that says D2. And so it's a small amount of pipe that's getting cut there. The rest is directionally bored.
And there's no concerns with it from the highway department's perspective. I'll make a motion to approve this request as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for an open cut at 500 South and 800 East. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that passes. And the next,
The next one on Colony Avenue. Again, they proposed a trench across Colony Avenue to install a gas line. No concerns that I've heard of.
I'll make a motion to approve this request as presented.
Second.
okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And then lastly, we'll move into the documents for the community crossing project.
So I've had a chance to look through these real quick. I did not have a copy of the changes that were proposed from the last version to this one. But looking through the finalized copy, I didn't see anything that I was concerned with.
And you've had
Obviously,
it
you
all.
have looked at it.
Yeah, Kimmy sent it to me and I corrected, it was all just typos, like the highway director's name. There was just some typos in it that I corrected and sent back to Kimmy, and she said the one you have is the corrected version, so.
Okay. Good. Any questions for Matt or for the engineer?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve the updated community crossings bid notice.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously. You have a- yeah.
So as far as I know, the next step with this is we have a distribution list that I got from Denise, that she just emails it out to, and then they have until the 30th at 1 PM to submit their bids, and we'll review them after that.
Okay. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item that we have on our agenda today is the SRI annual agreement. But we do not have that in our packets. We just have that on the agenda. Is there anyone here to speak to this? I know it's an annual agreement.
Matt, have you looked at it?
Yeah, I have it in my packet, so maybe it came to me separately, but I have looked at it. It's the exact same agreement, other than changing the dates as before, so. But I don't know it.
Tiffany just had me make a note that we already had approved the price increase previous, and that this is just our normal annual agreement that we do with them.
Okay.
Do you know when we voted on the price increase? Recently?
I feel like it's been a few months ago, but time flies. So
Yeah,
might have been-
it's the first of the year.
Yeah,
Now, I can't remember exactly what the increase was, but that is not borne by the county. It's paid as part of the tax sale process. So,
That's right.
yeah, part of
Okay.
the fee.
It's passed on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have no issues. I'll make a motion to approve the SRI annual agreement.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously. Okay, an item not on the agenda that came up ready for approval is we've been talking for several months now about the use of a commissioning agent at the jail project who is currently working even without the agreement being signed, but they essentially are the person who's making sure that controls communicate with the part like rooftop units and temperature controls are communicating, and just the really technical things that we might have one vendor who's doing the controls and another vendor who's actually installing the units, and the commissioning agent then makes sure that everything is working properly as it should, and if it's not, they determine who is responsible for making the corrections so that things do work. We did budget for this and in our contingencies. However, we budgeted 35,000 in our contingencies. The price came in at 39,800. There's money available in that contingency budget for the difference. But Matt has had a chance to review the contract. Now we did, Commissioner Shipman did identify an error in the contract where the written language is $76,800 and the numerical language is 39,800. And I'm agreeable to the 39,000. I don't know why that's doubled, but I would be willing to approve this contract contingent on the change being made in the written language as the 39,800.
And I can make that change. I had to, as you guys remember, they initially sent us a proposal without a contract, and we told them, hey, we need a contract, because there was some of this suspension and disbarment language that the State Board of Accounts is saying we need to make sure it's in all contracts. We got that in there, but thankfully Commissioner Shipman caught I didn't notice that part. It was cleaning up everything else. So, but I can change that and send it to you today.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe
approve it with that correction. And
maybe at some point in the conversation I had a misunderstanding, as you had said, maybe it's a 2-year contract, which is fine, but they should have made that very clear from the very beginning, because I can see its value at the 39,000. I cannot see its value at the 76,000. So
Should we get that clarified so we know if it's a 2-year agreement or?
I think we can, personally, I feel that we could approve contingent on them accepting and the changes being made, and of course them accepting that correction as well.
what is I guess the question would be is the testing that needs to be done, I'm guessing is more towards the end of construction, and is that a 2-year timeline?
Yeah, it is a 2-year timeline. They're currently working. They're currently in the schematics and the blueprints and whatnot, and the technical things. They're in those meetings, and they're.
And it's not limited. They say, here's what we're going to do. They don't say on a time period. So I think you're right. I think if we just approve it with that, then when and if they can do those testings is when they will do them. So that's fine. That makes sense.
And it could be just such a thing as this is a blanket contract, and maybe one of their other customers is paying the 76,000 for a longer period of time or something. I don't know why it's that way, but I think we could approve it.
39 in the fee quote.
Yeah,
roughly, so I
right.
think it's just a typo.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the TechCom agreement contingent upon payment terms, line 1, that they change the written value to $39,800.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And I'll hold off on signing until we get the corrected. Yep. We do have one facilities request from the city of Columbia City, and this would be for July 8th, 2023, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. for an event the city is hosting, where they're going to set out lawn games. They're calling it a munch and mingle event. I'm not really sure, but they'd like to set out lawn games on the courthouse lawn and anticipate as many as 100 participants.
Do we know if this is a public event or is this for their employees or?
It's a public event. I know that having worked a little bit with Columbia City Connect with it, the mayor's trying to do something, some form of family event every weekend during the summer, and it's just one of those events. They did last weekend, they did the schools out bash at the Roll Field. Probably similar to First Fridays, kind
Yeah.
of. What they
So it sounds like. I move to approve the request as presented.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. And that passes unanimously. Okay, the next item on the agenda is accounts payable and payroll claims.
So as we've been doing recently, a member from council came in Friday, Nick Brewer, and we went through them together. And everything looked to be in order, saw no issues. So I will move to approve payable claims.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand.
And also the same with payroll. Everything looked to be as it usually is, no concerns. So I will make a motion to approve payroll.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that passes unanimously. Rob still has that one. Okay, next item on the agenda is our previous meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review?
Yes.
Our May 15th meeting minutes.
The only question I had, and I might be wrong, if you look towards the bottom where we appointed Dick Buchanan to the building corporation, is that how you spell his last name?
No,
That's
that is
correct.
a typo.
No.
UCH.
B-U-C-H.
Pretty well. I'm
How about-
95% sure.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve these minutes with the amendment that we get with Mr. Buchanan and figure out the correct spelling of his name.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve with the one correction of the spelling of Dick Buchanan's last name. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And that passes unanimously. we'll hold off on signing until we get a corrected copy. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment. So if anyone has anything they'd like to say today, please come forward. I'll allow 3 minutes per person. Scott, did you have something you wanted to add before? Okay. Okay.
Scott Wagner, Health Department. Just a few things, heads up. I've discussed the other day with Chad. The state legislators have passed some laws affecting the health department significantly. So there's some decisions that will be coming up. One, of course, is the Public Health Governor's Commission that's passed. There is no requirement to have a vote. However, I think that probably would be good at some point prior to the September 30th deadline to vote whether you're going to opt in or opt out. Tiffany sent out a survey and a link to that. Didn't know if you wanted me to fill that out or not. It does ask for the commissioner's intent on whether they will or will not opt out. It's not a commitment, but an intent. So that's something we need to talk about. Secondly, they changed the rules with regards to the structure of the health board, and it makes it effective July 1st. Basically, populations of 2,000 or 200,000 or less, which includes Whitley County, we still have a seven-member board divided by 4 and 3 for political party. And but however, the county council gets to choose a member. The executive, the largest city inside the county, gets to nominate 3 people to the commissioners, who will choose 1 person. And then the other 5 are, again, help the board recommendations to the commissioners for the other 5, and they do give categories of those people allowed in those 5 positions. So I'll be getting you more information on that as we go forward. I have scheduled a meeting with the mayor to talk about that process going forward. Next, they have changed significant laws on septic systems and what the counties can do with those for ordinance requirements. So I'll be coming hopefully next commissioner meeting with a fee ordinance so we can pull those fees for permits and things out of the ordinances so that we have a separate one there. And then after July 1st, I'll have to come back to you, hopefully combine all of our different septic ordinances that we have, sewer, septic, all that stuff, into one. And then that would be sent to the state after October 1st to be reviewed to make sure that it's acceptable to them. We can have more restrictive, but they have to approve those things. We don't have a lot of more restrictive things, but that's something we have to redo all over again. Any questions on all of that?
I appreciated that you sent us, or maybe it was you that sent us the existing ordinances. One of the 2 of you had sent those, and I've
Yes,
been.
we have a septic ordinance, but we've had many over the years. But we have then a sanitary sewer ordinance that we passed last year, and the various combinations of such. So we just need to put it all into one document so it's easy for the state to see. And we need to talk about if we do want to have any restrictions, which we have very few compared to the state law. That's still something we want to go forward with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
I just have a question for Commissioner Shipman. He was at a meeting on May 17th. I think that was the planning commission meeting. And there was a gentleman sitting beside you, I can't remember his name, he was on the left-hand side. And he was asking you if you could change the solar panels from 1,500 feet to 1,000 feet. At least I think that's what he asked you at the meeting. I was listening. And
That was probably Mark Johnson. He's the president of the planning commission.
Okay. And I wondered if you had taken that, what he said, in consideration, or you were going to try to stick with your original.
No, we didn't change anything.
It's not been changed. It's 1,500.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
First off, I'm going to give you a document that I sent to Nathan.
Sir, could you introduce yourself for the minutes, please?
Let me pass this out.
Okay,
That way I don't only have to get up once.
I get it.
Thank you.
My name is Henry Janda, 4360 East 700 South Columbia City. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the planning meeting due to a conflict with a funeral. So I don't know whether any of these were even brought up or looked at. But I was hoping to get a chance to talk about this prior to acceptance of the ordinance. Because some of the items in that ordinance, and I can't tell what's on the website, whether it's the current one or some previous one, because there's never any dates on anything. I tried to find the minutes to the planning commission meeting, and those are virtually not found anywhere. So, you know, I'd appreciate if you'd go through this and look, compare that to the ordinance, and that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nathan, where are those minutes kept? Can you, would you be willing to let everyone know how they can find those?
So with planning commission minutes, they're typically posted as draft with the meeting following. And so they aren't really posted until roughly 3 or 4 weeks after the meeting.
I looked all over that document center and could not find any planning commission.
We'll send you the.
I'd like to go back and be able to look at all those previous ones as well.
And I believe they're kept on Document Center, correct?
Yeah, I'll verify that. That's one thing that I know that our website is.
It's easy to find the agendas, but the minutes, not so much.
Okay.
And just to add to that, we're working with our current website provider on updating all of that. And that includes that because, you know, even us as commissioners, we agree that things are extremely hard to find. So that should be much easier for you all to navigate in the future.
We hope so. Good.
Okay, anyone else? Matt, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Pamela?
No.
Commissioner Shipman?
No, sir.
Commissioner Basinger?
Nothing.
And I have nothing to add. So at this time, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.